DeepCool keeps on digitalizing more products, and yes, while that may not be a word, it doesn't change the fact that this CH560 digital case isn't cool, both in terms of visual and literally cool. Hey guys, my name is Vlad. Welcome to the review of the CH560 digital case by DeepCool. Looking for affordable Windows or Office keys? Look no further, I got you covered. Head over to scdkey.com, pick your Windows edition, use my discount code LE25 to get a 25% on any Windows or Office products. Once you complete your order, after a few seconds you will receive your code. In Windows, go to Settings, there should be an Activate Windows prompt at the bottom. Click that, enter your code and wait for Windows to finish activation. To check the activation status, use the command prompt with the command slmgr.vbs/xpr and you should receive a notification that the machine is permanently activated. Once again, use code LE25 at scdkey.com. The first thing that will strike you when you look at this case are the big perforated holes all around it, front and the sides as well, since it has a quite unique aesthetics with tempered glass that does not span all the way to the bottom but is rather cut at some 2/3 to allow for a perforated mesh and a digital display to be added on the side. So this display and large 140mm front fans separates this case from all the rest cases. In terms of dimensions, it is 458 by 230 by 471mm large and it is 7.7 kilos heavy. Removing the front panel at first might be hard, just give it a good old yank and it will pop off. No worries, nothing is attached to it, so no wires can be pulled out. The panel has large enough holes for air to pass through, but it also has a fine mesh dust filter installed on it. It also has angled air channels that are used to further supply fresh air to the large 140mm PWM fans, and also these are RGB fans. The fan support in the front is either 3140 or 3120mm fans and up to 360mm in radiator size. What is also interesting here in the front is that you can remove the fan rails, thus removing all the fans at once for easier installation out of the case of the fans or an AIO, and just pop it all in all together. Removing the side panel is easy, just pull the tab at the back and it will pop out since it is held only by magnets in place. By the way, both the glass and bottom mesh panel are one, so when you remove it, the internals gets revealed and it all looks familiar, actually too familiar with the CH510 case I reviewed a while ago, since it shares the internal chamber with it. Apart from the digital display on the bottom right, of course, but that is a new thing. This does not change the fact that this is a great case, even better than the CH510 since it is more airy thanks to the bigger front fans. But let's focus on the inside here. Usual stuff, rubber grommets on major side holes, but not on the bottom nor the top ones. Also, top ones are slightly angled. There is a GPU holder, which has become a norm with the DeepCool now. And speaking of GPU clearance, up to 385mm large GPUs can be installed here and up to 175 large CPU towers. The PSU shroud is perforated with large enough holes that follows that square pattern that DeepCool has now on all products, and it also supports mounting of two 120mm fans for additional GPU cooling. At the rear side there is a pre-installed 120mm fan which is also RGB enabled. You can install up to 140mm fan size here, but only the 120mm fan will have sliding rails for up and down adjustment. Up top we have a flimsy magnetic dust cover. Please DeepCool, get rid of these, please. Up here you can mount up to 3 120mm fans, but only 2 140mm fans, and of course up to 360mm radiators are accepted here. The I/O panel is as simple as it gets. Big power button, USB-C port, combo mic and headphone jack, one USB 3.0 Type A port and LED button which is the same size as the power button, so don't be confused with those two. Rear side also reveals that the PSU is installed from the inside of the case. Getting to the back side is easy, thumb screws hold the panel in place. You can see that it comes with the RGB controller, which uses classic 3-pin connectors to daisy chain all the RGB stuff inside, but still allows you to control RGB on the case directly. And sadly there is no PWM fan controller here. You can install up to 3 2.5-inch drives here, 2 at the back of the mobile tray and 1 on top of the hard drive cage. Cage can be used to install 2 3.5-inch drives or a combination of 1 2.5 and 1 3.5-inch drives. The cage is also removable completely from the case, but it also allows you to move it closer or further off the front of the case to gain more space for PSU and cables, allowing you to use up to 170mm large PSUs, or standard size if you will, but if you remove it you are not limited for the PSU size at all. If we flip the case, we can see the screw needed to be removed if you want to reposition the hard drive cage or remove it, but it also reveals the PSU dust cover, which is only a flimsy metal dust cover which is not easy to remove when everything is already assembled. I don't know why DeepCool did this. I mean, didn't give us a classic dust filter which is removable from the back side or from the front of this case. But I guess that some corners needed to be cut in favor of that side temperature display and still maintain the competitive price. As with all DeepCool cases, PC building is super easy, and having a GPU anti-sag bracket also helps with beefy and sagging GPUs. The temperature displays also helps you to monitor CPU and GPU temps in real time. It uses one of the motherboard's internal USB 2.0 headers and a little program that is residing in your taskbar, which is used to display temperature or CPU and GPU usage as well, or cycle between the two. You can't change any color on the display, by the way. The performance of DeepCool cases should never be questioned. I used Assassin 4 here as a CPU cooler and no fans up top on purpose. Front fans were enough to give plenty of fresh air to both CPU and GPU. The CPU was sitting in the high 40s while gaming, which really surprised me, but as you know by now, the Assassin 4 is a pretty beefy and a monster of a cooler. I guess that fresh airflow from the front 140mm fans give it quite a nice boost, so it shows its real face. GPU did not suffer at all here, maxing out at 65 degrees, which is on par with the Montech Air 903 case I reviewed as well. Once again, adding additional fans on top will keep your CPU even cooler, but I wanted to see if it is actually needed there. Turns out I did not need it, but I do recommend that you add at least two 120mm fans up top. Adding bottom fans for the GPU is up to you. It might aid the GPU cooling, shaving off another 1 or 2 degrees out of it. Once again, DeepCool has a great product which retails for $129.99 and for the price it really offers performance in return. I like the visual appeal. It has glass and mesh panel fused in one, breaking the usual standard of only glass here, but having a real temperature monitor is really an icing on already delicious cake. Pairing this case with Assassin 4 like I did here will give you that visual consistency that DeepCool is aiming for with its recent products, but not only that, it makes the build look like a sleeper build, plain and simple, but you know that under the hood you have a beast that can run all the latest games, all the latest programs. I created a build with minimal RGB as I am getting bored with RGB. I am starting to appreciate subtle lights and more aesthetically pleasing builds. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like the content, sub to the channel, share and like the video, and I'll see you in the next one.